Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Alan. Follow me on Twitter at Turnbuckle Talk, KO Country. I got a few topics I want to talk about today as far as the WWE goes. First and foremost, I want to talk about this whole Ricochet and Prince Puma, mess going on around the business. So no doubt in my mind that Ricochet will sign with the WWE, after his, because apparently in his contract he has to wait until Season 3 of Lucha Underground is done filming, and once that is done filming, he will be able to be on any, wrestling television platform, anywhere where he wants to go. Do I think WWE will sign him before then? Absolutely. He'll probably train in the Performance Center, but until he can get on TV, and then that's when we'll see Prince Puma or Ricochet, which most likely he'll go by Ricochet, on WWE television. Huge fan of Ricochet, by the way. Love Lucha Underground. Can't wait. Just watched the first episode of Season 3 last night. Great episode, but Prince Puma is honestly what got me into Lucha Underground. I heard a lot about him on the web. So I got to watching Prince Puma. He was the first Lucha Underground champion, so a great talent. Ricochet, obviously, that match against Will Ospreay, that was just amazing, as usual, because everything Ricochet or Prince Puma touches is absolutely phenomenal. I just want to, repping the Apollo Crews, and I wanted to start off with that, because one reason is that Ricochet moved to Florida with Apollo Crews when Apollo Crews got signed to WWE, went to NXT, and then him and Ricochet got a place, actually, in Florida, where he went to the Performance Center. Ricochet didn't sign with them yet, so he's probably kind of bummed about that, but obviously we will see Ricochet in the Performance Center soon enough. In the meantime, I guess just enjoy his indie stuff, his Lucha Underground. Obviously, Season 3 is going to be great, I think. Obviously, of course, because it's Lucha Underground, what happens at the temple is always 100% lovely. Alright. Next, I want to talk about the huge kind of controversy that's going around with Sasha Banks' promo on Raw this past Monday. I don't understand what the beef with it is. I don't get it. Never did. I'm reading a lot of people say that it was disrespectful towards certain people, and I will name drop Daniel Bryan, Edge. I read things that said it was disrespectful to them, but I don't think so. I think what she did was tremendous. It was a great promo. It's entertainment. It's WWE. It's World Wrestling Entertainment. What she did was purely for entertainment. It wasn't to hurt anyone, obviously. Well, feelings get hurt. They do sometimes, but what can you do? There's nothing you can do, and there's nothing that you will do. So I think that there was a great promo in retrospect. Sasha Banks, obviously, when I first saw her come out and then she started talking, I definitely thought some bad news was coming. I expected the worst, to say the least. It was not pleasant. I was sad because I didn't want my girl Sasha to leave, and I'm sure all the fans out there did not want her to leave as well. But yeah, once she started talking, I was definitely feeling that she would retire. She didn't, thank God, and it was bad news for Charlotte, quote, and obviously Miss Piggy. Dana Brooke in the ring when it all went down. So I think that even if Daniel Bryan or Edge were offended by this, which I don't think they are at all, I think it's rumors and unnecessary drama, the WWE creative team did something that we haven't really seen in this new era. So they had her come out. It was actually written. It was scripted. It was a scripted promo. So it was written, and she came out and she did her job, and she did it, perfectly. Had all the fans guessing. I was guessing the whole time, watching, crying, not really crying, but I was sad. Then once she said it was bad news for Charlotte, and not actually her retirement or any of her back problems that we know she's been having trouble with, she is now fighting Charlotte at Clash of Champions. And I don't necessarily think she'll get her title back at Clash. I see that feud going a bit again because the way she won on Raw, it was great. Obviously, the fans loved it when she won the title. But there's a lot that this feud has to offer, and I think we will see Charlotte retain at Clash of Champions. But yeah, do expect her to win the women's title in the coming months. So yet again, I don't think that promo should have been this big of a deal. I think it was a great job, a great idea, personally. She came out there, said what she said, had the emotions flowing. That's their job. When they cut promos, you're supposed to feel what they are, feel what they're saying. And all the fans did. There's definitely some, not so dry eyes. So I'm just glad she did not take an exit out the business. And I'm looking forward to seeing you back in the ring, Sasha. We cannot wait for that. And actually, speaking of departures, what is up with this Del Rio and Paige situation that is going on? So apparently Del Rio's out already. Paige is going to be out, which is a bummer, because I thought back in 2011, when Del Rio had his world champion run, that honestly he was up there with my favorites. It was him, CM Punk. It was great. It was great TV. I thought Del Rio was great. He left the first time, went to Lucha Underground. Alberto de Patron, and but I loved him there. I loved him in the WWE too. I wish he could stay. Not exactly sure why, but you gotta do what you gotta do. Obviously, he wasn't getting the treatment that he was promised. I've read a lot about, which him being a former world champion and having to reduce himself to, let's just face it, Mex America was probably one of the worst gimmicks. It was terrible. He won the U.S. title off of Cena coming back, so you thought Del Rio would have such a ceiling. He would grab the brass ring. I thought he would definitely be champion by now. Don't know why he's not champion. As far as Paige goes, their relationship, whatever, out the window. Obviously, that has something to do with it. Obviously, because there's been reports that they wanted to fire Paige if she did not break up with Del Rio, because they're already going to part ways with Del Rio. So it's kind of like the whole Cody Rhodes and Eden Styles thing. Which Cody Rhodes, man, oh man, I miss that guy. That is just a perfect example of a guy just destroyed by just such a terrible gimmick. Like, the Stardust gimmick was god awful. He had Goldust, his brother, who already had that gimmick. That was his own. So people didn't look at Stardust as a serious gimmick. As in with Goldust, you're like, oh god, like, who's this tranny dude that once whatever, has a blonde wig going on back in the days. I felt so bad when Cody Rhodes was not happy. But honestly now, with all, the Evolve and all the matches I've seen, Zack Sabre Jr., Kurt Angle, good for Cody Rhodes. He got out the business, and he's doing great. He's doing great. What can I say? I seen his girl announce him, in that match as a personal ring announcer, and that was hilarious. You should probably go watch that, go view that, if you haven't, which I'm sure you have. But yeah, Cody Rhodes, man, miss that guy, but he's doing great. Glad to see that he's doing good. He's putting on hell of matches, great matches, and it's just great to see him just be him, be himself, and just be able to cater to the audience that really loved him in WWE. His Intercontinental title run, Dashing Cody Rhodes, was one of my favorites of all time. I mean, Cody Rhodes honestly was one of my favorite Intercontinental champions of all time. Next to Jericho, Mr. Perfect. I even put Wade Barrett. I'll even say it. I'll put Wade Barrett in a Intercontinental title, list, because he was that England bruiser that just fit the Intercontinental title really well. So, obviously, but nothing beats Jericho. Jericho is an all-time great Intercontinental champion. He's an all-time great, period. His heel work is magical, obviously, but when Cody Rhodes brought back the white belt, when he was coming out with the face mask, putting paper bags over people's heads, that was awesome. That was one of my favorite gimmicks. Obviously, him in Legacy was great, but it's great. It's great to see Cody doing great. Rest in peace, Dusty. Prayers are with you and the family, Cody. You're making him proud. your brother's proud, and just continue to be yourself, and just run through this business, do whatever you can do, and hopefully see you back in the WWE someday, just not as Stardust. All right. So with like all these departures, like one big question mark to me is Cesaro. You know, why is Cesaro gone? Like, you know, he's supposed to be leaving in sometime in 2017. Honestly, Cesaro is one of the best in the world in ring, as far as in ring ability. His strength is just like almighty, man. Like, it is crazy. His matches are always like amazing. Like this best out of 7 series with Sheamus. A lot of people give Sheamus shit, and I don't really understand why. Because I think Sheamus is just a perfect heel. He's that bruiser, that Celtic brawler. Like, I think he is just a perfect heel, and to have Cesaro go up to the best of 7 with Sheamus, I thought was a tremendous idea, because Mick Foley not only guaranteed them a title shot, but now they get TV time, you know, 7 times, except I did not expect them to fight, what was it, in London yesterday, or 2 days ago, past Wednesday. So that was kind of bummed, but, you know, the first 3, you know, the 3 matches that we did see were great. I mean, the one where Cesaro got hurt, that was a great match, and him and Sheamus have such great chemistry in the ring. This best of 7 series, I think, was a great idea. Loved it. I was hoping Cesaro would go after her title, preferably the world or the Universal Championship, which is on Raw. I wish he was on SmackDown. Yeah. So it obviously will not be the Universal. It'll most likely be the United States if he does get a title, you know, a title run. If he's leaving in 2017. I'm not sure when he will leave in 2017, but if he does win the U.S. title, I expect him to win it at Mania, because he's guaranteed a title shot if he wins. But if they're going to part ways, and if Cesaro wants out, then they might have Sheamus win this, and have Sheamus go after the Universal title, or, you know, whatever. So I love the best of 7 series in a nutshell. I think it's great. Both men have like great chemistry. So with that being said, hopefully Cesaro can stay. Looking forward, you know, to some great matches. Hopefully they have one at Clash. I'd like to see them have a match at Clash of Champions, because I feel like that would be one of their better matches. And last but not least, what I want to talk about in this segment, the last thing, is Backlash is this Sunday, and I want to give you my predictions on the big matches. We find ourselves looking at, you know, not a great match card, but there are some matches on here that are great. Yeah. You know, we got Bray Wyatt versus Randy Orton, which I think low-key will be a great match. I don't know how it's going to end, honestly. I could see it going multiple ways. I can kind of see it in a double turn type thing, where, because he abandoned Rowan, you know, in last match they had, that Rowan could actually come out and interfere, or some way cost Bray Wyatt his match, thus creating a Bray Wyatt face turn and a Randy Orton heel turn. I can also see Randy Orton just winning clean, because they probably want to make him look strong after losing to Lesnar. And honestly, either way, I'm fine with it. But for me, I'm a huge fan of Bray Wyatt, Husky Harris. So I would love for Bray Wyatt to actually win this match clean, but I do not think that's happening. Randy Orton takes that match. As far as the tag team titles go, now that was kind of a curveball. I kind of expected an Usos heel turn, you know, soon, but I didn't expect it to go like that. You know, seeing them turn on American Alpha on this past SmackDown, this past Tuesday, and obviously Chad Gable's injury is just a work. It's not an actual injury. So with them fighting the Hype Bros at Backlash, which will probably be the opening match, I definitely think, obviously, the Usos are going to win that match. Hopefully we see, because this whole thing that they're doing with Slater, it is awesome. I love it. It's great. His kids, like on SmackDown I was watching, man, when they had them kids up there, I about died laughing. That was hilarious. But you know, him, because this whole 1-man band, 3-man band, 2-man band, like same entrance over and over again, is kind of getting it's getting a little played out, and I want to see Slater with a new theme. I want to see him and Rhino come out together with like a different and like a new theme and a different gimmick. Rhino's gimmick obviously is good, he's fine, but I just want to see Slater and him kind of like look as if they want to be tag team partners and as if they belong as tag team partners. So obviously it will be Usos versus Rhino and Slater for the titles. Now with the Usos injuring American Alpha, I do see the Usos winning the titles. I hope Slater and Rhino win the titles just for the fact that Slater can get the contract, because let's just face it, the man is gold. But maybe it wouldn't be as gold if he wasn't a free agent, because this whole free agent gimmick is what makes it work, and it is hilarious. Love it. But I want Slater and Rhino to win the tag titles, but ultimately I think the Usos will win the tag titles, setting up American Alpha versus the Usos title match at the next pay-per-view. So that is a possibility, which I think is the most likely outcome of that match. And then as far as AJ Styles versus Dean Ambrose, I expect one hell of a match. I do. Part of me thinks that Ambrose is actually going to retain, for the fact that there could be just a gold mine within this Styles and Ambrose feud. I think you keep Ambrose as your baby face, authority, I'm better than you. I think that you should keep that gimmick with him as a good guy. And, that's why it works so well with Ziggler. Like, the match wasn't great, but Ambrose is not like a baby face, like a extreme, overly baby face, John Cena, Sami Zayn, that type of baby face. But he's still a face, but he's like heel enough to be able to feud with a fellow face. So that's why it will work with anyone on the roster, and that's why I think that they could have Ambrose retain, but my gut says the phenomenal one, AJ Styles, will become WWE World Champion at Backlash. As far as the women's match, the women's title match could go a number of different ways. A lot of people are saying Nikki Bella. I want to say Becky Lynch. But then part of me actually thinks, because Natty has been kind of like just put on the shelf for for how long it's been since she's won the Divas Championship. And honestly, Natalya is such a hard worker. She's phenomenal in the ring. She's such a technical wrestler. I think she's tremendous. She's tremendously underrated as well. Her character I could live without. I don't like her whole kind of heel. I don't know what she is. Heel, face. Same with Carmella, but that's a different discussion. But I could see Natalya winning the title. I honestly could. And I think she would look good with the title. The only reason I don't think Nikki Bella will win the title is because her and Carmella got beef, so it would make sense to have multiple women feud, because Becky Lynch and Natty still haven't resolved that feud. So if you have Becky Lynch or Natty win the title, you have one or the other, they feud with each other for the title. You got that, and you also got Nikki Bella versus Carmella, which is sort of like a veteran, passing the torch kind of feud that they could do with that. So ultimately, I do think Becky Lynch will walk out of Backlash women's champion, and that's my prediction for that match. Becky Lynch, the last kicker, represent. I'm Irish myself, but so those are my main. And then The Miz, obviously, versus Ziggler. I don't know. Me, I'm super high in The Miz. I love The Miz. His work he does with Maurice is amazing. He's a perfect heel right now. Great SmackDown heel. That promo he cut on Talking Smack, I'm still not over it. That was awesome. Daniel Bryan literally looked like a scared little bitch, but just playing. But yeah, it was a great promo, and that's Miz, man. He is incredibly underrated. He's overlooked by so many fans. They think he's annoying, but he's doing his job right. He's hated by people because he's a heel. A true heel is hated by people. Kids, adults, and The Miz does it. The Miz does it. Obviously, you got guys like Owens, that's my favorite in the business. KO Country, fight Owens, fight Steen, fight. You got KO, a guy who is a heel, but when he won the title, the fans gave him his respect because they know what he went through. They know the indie scene he came up on, him and Zayn traveling the world, and so like a heel like that, obviously you'll show your respect for the time being. But he is such a great heel, like him, Jericho, Miz, Sheamus. Like I think those four are like the top heels in the business. AJ Styles, those guys are tremendous heels. They do their job, and they do it right. Especially like Sheamus is underrated too with his heel work, because he's actually more like, he's not liked by more people than any other superstar right now. That Mohawk. But as far as the prediction goes, I do see the Miz. I see the Miz retaining, but I also see Ziggler winning the title simply because the Miz should be in the World Championship title hunt. Now, if you look at it this way, you have AJ Styles, who I think he's going to win the title. So you have the Miz. The Miz could drop the Intercontinental title to Ziggler, because Ziggler will make a tremendous Intercontinental champion. He's Ziggler. He's amazing. You got the Miz. I think I would want to see Miz drop the title to Ziggler, but realistically, I'm going to go with the Miz retaining the title, and the Miz will retain against Ziggler, or it might be some fluke, so him and Ziggler feud. That feud can go on longer, because let's face it, they're best friends in real life, and best friends make the best feuds. You've seen it in Triple H, Shawn Michaels, many other Matt Hardy, Jeff Hardy brothers, best friends, great feuds. So you see it all over wrestling and everything. So my prediction is Miz retains the Intercontinental title, Becky Lynch wins the Women's title, Ambrose loses to AJ Styles. AJ Styles becomes the world champion. Randy Orton beats Bray Wyatt. And your first and new SmackDown Tag Team Champions will be the Usos. And that's this video form. Go follow me on Twitter at Turnbuckle Talk 5. Look me up, KO Country. I'd love to chat with you guys on Twitter. Shout out at the Bizzle on Twitter. He's a friend of mine. He's in love with wrestling, but he's a shy guy. Give him some love on Twitter. Give me some love as well. Thanks if you watched it. If you're watching this, thanks a lot. Appreciate it, and see you next week for the next video.